Hi, I'm Tammy, and I am the KetoCricket. Hi guys! Today we are going to make some spaghetti squash. I think I talked about it in my produce grocery aisle. It is amazing. So get your spaghetti squash and y'all can follow along in the video, or you can pause it. I will link the recipe below. You want to start with a nice sharp knife. There's two different ways to cut your squash. You can either cut it like this. So I don't know if that's hamburger or hot dog style. I never can remember. If you cut it like this so that the stem pieces are on the end, your spaghetti will be longer. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it this way. So I don't know if you can see that. So that's how I'm going to cut mine. I'm not obviously going to start that, but I am going to cut the ends off just to make it a little bit easier to slice through. And it also makes it so it can stand up a little bit better. So there's that. And so now I can simply just take my knife and try not to chop my hand off, because that would be not a very good video. Well, and voila. So you've got the guts inside, similar to a pumpkin, because pumpkin is a member of the squash family. The more you know. Da, da, da. Alright, so then we're going to just take a spoon and we're going to scrape all the guts out. You can use your hands as well. You just want to get all of the more like stringy stuff out. You can eat these seeds, so if you want to save them, you can do that and make a little snack. I've never roasted them. I imagine they're very similar to pumpkin seeds, which I do like pumpkin seeds. They're pretty yummy. So I'm going to set that on my little pan there for now. I'm making a mess on my stove, but that's okay. It's washable. And apparently I'm getting some on the floor, which is also lots of fun. And I need to turn my oven on. So you want to preheat your oven, which I almost totally forgot. You want it set for between 350 and 375. It's going to depend on your altitude and your oven. So you may start with 350 and see how that works. I've always done 375. But to be fair, 375 is like the magic temperature for me. Honestly, I think everything but chicken and pizza, I cook on 375. Everything. I don't know what it is. Just seems like a really good temperature. Okay. So once you get it all cleaned out, it's going to look like that. It's so beautiful. I don't know how the coloring is on that. Alright. I'm going to take it out of that. I'm going to line my pan. I have a nice stone, so it shouldn't stick, but just for ease of cleanup, we are going to go ahead and line that bad boy with parchment paper. If you're using a metal pan, you definitely want to use parchment paper because it may stick. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take some salt. I like the Himalayan pink salt, but you could also do like a sea salt. I mean, you could do table salt if you really wanted to, but just beware, table salt is really not that good for you. So, it doesn't have very much flavor. And then I'm going to do some freshly ground pepper as well. Okay, so it looks like this. Ooh. Ooh. No, I don't want to make you sick. Alright, so there's that. And we're going to do some olive oil. And I know people, like, they have the little bottle and they use their thumb to make it not pour out quickly. And that's super fancy. Me, I just kind of pour slowly with my giant bottle. But you definitely may want to actually use, because then you'll end up like me and dump it You may want to use an actual like measuring device. I don't worry about this too much because most of it's going to just cook off, and you want to turn it down. So I am going to kind of make sure that my olive oil is spread, especially since I won't really be putting a lot of other seasoning on here. There you go. And then I'm going to cook it down. So shell side down like that. And we will cook it anywhere from 40 minutes probably for this size. You could, this is kind of a smaller one, so it may actually be done in 35, but I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes. And if you get a really big squash, it could take as long as an hour, but I will show you through the magic of YouTube. And I just got back from our walk, and we got about 6 minutes left on our spaghetti squash. So I'm going to go ahead and start making my chicken. So I have defrosted some chicken this morning, but I can feel some of it's not quite. Okay. Going to do 6 ounces of chicken for the chicken Parmesan. And I'm going to rinse all these off. I'm just measuring them now so I know which one is the one. When you're measuring your chicken, if at all possible, do preferably measure it raw because it does shrink up quite a bit, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily lose those calories. No, that one's closer. That's 6.31. So I think we'll go with that. I honestly don't know though that it's really 6. I think it might be closer to 6 because this piece is still kind of frozen. But this is the antibiotic-free chicken that I talked about, and you can see it's really nice. It doesn't have any of the weird red blood spots in them, or if it does, it has a lot less. You can see this is a 3-pound bag, and I'm probably throwing away, I don't know, maybe 2.5 ounces. So I just really like, that's another reason why I like the antibiotic free, is I feel like I get more meat with it as well. So not only am I not plugging my body full of hormones that it doesn't need, but it's healthier, you get more. I am pretty sure that my spaghetti squash is done, even though the timer hasn't got off. Okay, be really careful if you have extra oil in the pan like I do while you're flipping this, that you don't splatter oil on yourself. But you can see it's done. Like, try to hold it up to the camera. Ooh, see the steam? So you can see the strings are already pulling away from the sides. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to kind of let it cool anyway because it's super hot. You don't want to let it cool too much because I'm guessing, I've never tried it, but I'm guessing it'll be harder to pull the squash away from it if it's too cool. So there. And I'm just going to use a little pan. The nice thing about using cast iron is I'll be able to put my chicken in there while I wait. But today's recipe, I am going to do a nut-free and grain-free recipe for the chicken Parmesan that I really like. So I'm going to use these. These are just some sesame seeds that I put in the food processor to make them into a flour-like mixture. So here are the original, and you notice these are already toasted. So if you buy raw sesame seeds, make sure that you toast them before you stick them in the food processor. But you can actually make this even into a butter, and you can do the same thing with sunflower seeds. So if you have a nut allergy, you can still do keto, you can still do low carb. This is a great option, especially for cookies. These make the most delicious chocolate chip cookies I've had that are flourless anyway. I actually really liked them. I haven't had a real cookie in like 4 years, so to be fair, I don't really know what a real cookie tastes like anymore. But but they were my ultimate favorite cookie so far. I mean, I could eat them all, and unfortunately I did, which is one of the reasons why I didn't lose as much weight in February. But anyway, So this is kind of what it looks like. It's got a nice fluffy texture. There is a sesame seed flour that you can buy. It's pretty carby, but just doing it this way, where you grind them yourself, you know, it's not as bad. So just kind of be aware of that. I'm not sure why that flour has a lot more carbs in it. We're also going to do a little bit of this gelatin powder. You don't have to use this if you don't have it. So, you know, if this is the only recipe you're ever going to use this with, skip it. I will say though that this is really what made those chocolate chip cookies have that perfect texture. So we're going to do, I will have some almond meal here, and you guys know I like my almond meal. So we're going to do the gelatin powder. I'm only going to do 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to do 2 or 3 tablespoons of the sesame seed flour. This is the homemade. Basically, it's just ground up sesame seed. Ground up toasted sesame seed. 1 to 3 tablespoons of Parmesan. Salt and pepper. Dredge my chicken mixture. I'm going to put melt a little bit of this butter, so about 1/2 tablespoon. So I'm going to quit talking, and you guys can just watch some magic and listen to some good music while I do this.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
The treetops and the mountainsides make us feel at home as we pass by. I would never make it through this busy world without the thought of you, the thought of you.